Ladies and gentlemen, tighten your seatbelt as we take you on this smooth ride. Let's go! It's the morning drive on 103.5 Bona DFM, keeping your morning engaging as we take you through the smoothest ride on radio from 7 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Getting your morning inspired, be informed, let's interact only on the morning drive. Make it a date with Martin Efanshuku, aka Meta,
and Christy FEMNR, aka Classy.
from Monday to Friday from 7 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. on the morning drive. 103.5 FM.
Good morning and welcome to Abona, the 103.5 FM. Today, the 16th day of November 2023. Today is Thursday and the time is a minute past the hour of 7. It's time for newspaper headlines on Abona, the 103.5 FM. This morning, we're going to take you through the news making the headlines on Nigerian newspapers. But before we do that, let's go for a short break. When we come back, we'll continue on the stories making the headlines. Please stay with us.
Do you know that you have the right to quality broadcasting? The National Broadcasting Commission says any person, group of persons, or organization aggrieved by the content of a broadcast or the conduct of a broadcast station may lodge a complaint to the station and all right to the Director General, National Broadcasting Commission, number 20, Ibrahim Taiwo Street, Asokoro, Abuja, or send a mail via info@nbc.gov.ng. Please ensure that the complaint includes name of the broadcast station, title of the program, date and time of broadcast, and essence of the complaint. Also, remember to include your name, address, telephone number, email, and append your signature. Note that a complaint must reach the NBC within 14 days of the queried broadcast. NBC, your right to quality broadcasting.
You're welcome back to newspaper headlines on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. This morning, we are going to take you through the news making the headlines on the Guardian newspaper, Leadership, Vanguard, Daily Post, Punch, Sun, The Nation, This Day, and if time permits, we're also going to take a look at Nigerian Tribune. Remember that you can become part of the conversation by sending your reactions via SMS or WhatsApp messages on 080-9666-1035. You can equally join us on Facebook as we are live at Ebona, the 103.5 FM. Drop your comment on the comment section of the live video. You can as well join us on via mixlr/GistFM. My name is Martin. Let's get started with the Guardian newspaper this morning. Labour suspends strike after meeting NSA. Currency depreciation. High energy costs worsens inflation outlook. Currency depreciation, high energy costs worsens inflation outlook. Agency probes runway incident at Port Harcourt Airport. NLC, TUC suspends strike, asks federal government to reciprocate gesture. Umahi canvasses timely completion of Lagos-Abidjan Highway. Ex-militant leaders blame Silva Tompolo Alliance for APC's defeat. Banks, courts, schools, others close as Rivers joins labor strike. Reps demand implementation of 550 billion naira subsidy removal palliative. Federal government would condone abuse of artificial intelligence to undermine national security. How investigative reporting promotes socio-economic, political reforms by Garba. HPV vaccine. We have not done enough to address misconceptions, says experts. Court of Appeal affirms Sanwo-Olu's re-election. BUK suspends semester exam as ASU joins labor strike. Environmentalists reject geoengineering solution to climate change. Prevent electoral violence. Observers tell security agencies. How science, tech will help revive economy, strengthen Naira, federal government. Union raises concern over delayed wage award payments in Oyo. Eco Disco urges e-payments amid NLC strike. Appeal court reserves judgment on Nasarawa Guba. Enugu announces cash award for civil servants. John deplores quality of varsity intakes. Dixon congratulates Diri amid calls for legislation against vote buying. Nimet educates Nigerians airlines on looming haze. Civil society organizations accuse Osun Governor Assembly of plot to remove Chief Justice. Saudi cites wrong visas, faulty application for deportation. Federal government commissions Rafin Yashi Dam in Niger. Namadi sends 298.14 billion naira budget for 2024 to Jigawa Assembly. Zulum assures National Drug Law Enforcement Agency of partnership to curb drug abuse. Nothing will make me quarrel with my successor, says Umai Sultan, Emir of Kanu. Governors to grace commissioning of new Adoba mosques. Miss Nigeria celebrates first winner, Oyelude, at 93. Bauchi has only 8 ODF local governments, says UNICEF. National Assembly okays bill to empower Egbin, other host communities of power stations. SNM insists Tambuwa appointment as clerk. National Assembly illegal. PDP senator speak Senate minority leader from North Central. PDP senator speak Senate minority leader from North Central. Ogun collaborates with UK government on public transportation. Directors of gender centers meet in Delsu. Nimet calls for private sector investment in meteorological services. Ayoba accelerator program, viable tool to improving small, medium enterprises in Nigeria, experts. Dozie Mobosi Foundation set to celebrate 2023 International Men's Day with prostate cancer awareness walk. Labour suspends strike after meeting NSA. Saudi authority react to cancellation of Air Peace passengers visas. Federal government inaugurates committee on salt. Kaolin production. Federal government sets up action framework on disaster risk reduction. 2024 Hajj cut down size of Saudi-based service providers to reduce fare. Civil society organizations tells NACON. Governor Bago, Palais mad. Governor Bago, Palais made group in Jeddah on solid mineral development in Niger State. Police cadet recruitment. No slot reserved for politicians, says Arase. Governorship poll. Kogi indigents storm INEC headquarters. Back election outcome. Appeal court unanimously affirms Sango-Olu's Hamzat election. Mba announces 10,000 naira to 25,000 naira cash awards to Enugu workers increases social register enrollment to 260,000. DGI calls for adequate funding of health centers, efficient use of resources. EFCC again warned skip makers over unauthorized use of its operational identities. PENCOM demands recognition as a representative of Chevron retirees. WAEC transforms begins CBT exams with private candidates. Police arrest notorious Lekki Epe Expressway traffic robber. Tinubu restates commitment towards economic recovery. Reps Gadi absolves self from blame over losses of PDP Plateau colleagues. Mawa commends army troops for patriotism. Sacrifice to Nigeria. Army troops kill bandits, recover ammunition in Kaduna. Nigeria's inflation rate hits 27.33% in October. MBS. Groups throw weight behind defense ministers over improved security. NGX Reco launches Equip Her for women's empowerment in Nigeria's equity market. Kogi traditional rulers commend INEC. Others congratulate Ododo. Tinubu to attend Guinea-Bissau Independence Day commemoration on Thursday. NSA urges Labour to rescind strike to probe attack on NLC president. Court sentences bricklayer to life imprisonment for defiling 13 years girl. Article calls for merger of opposition parties against APC. Enugu advises residents on proper waste disposal, replacement of pipes before end of November. Humanitarian group founder Toyosi Akure bags Ed Excel Varsity Honorary Doctorate. Dawn expresses worry over low quality entrance in varsities. And that's the much we can take from the Guardian newspaper this morning. And from the Guardian newspaper, we'll flip over to Leadership newspaper. TMCon 2023 launches Digital Native Africa. NMPCL unveils strategies for dynamic energy landscape. Strike. Senate calls emergency meeting with NLC, TUC. Ex-Nasarawa Varsity DVC. Engineer shooter for burial in Abia, December 22nd. We are not bullies. EFCC warns skit makers against wrong characterizations. Modibo Adama Varsity joins NLC strike in Adamawa. Fuji musician Shahid Osupa graduates from University of Ibadan with second-class honors. Still on the stories making the headlines on the Leadership newspaper this morning. Tinubu secures multi-billion-dollar in infrastructure funding from Islamic Bank. Federal government to withdraw police personnel from VIPs. Kogi's research director says Ododo's victory is positive transition. National stability. Political leaders caution Tinubu on Kanu election. We will take over more Southeast states, APC. Silva, Eradire, reject Bayelsa election results, demand review. Provide Beavers data on off-cycle polls, Chidoka writes INEC. Kogi, Imo, Bayelsa polls worse than general election, PDP. Again, court stops Anyanwu from parading self as PDP scribe. Nigeria sliding into one-party state, Atiku warns. IPM asks opposition to support Uzodinma. CAF robbed me of 2013 African Best Player Award, Mikel. Oshola, Ajibade, 5 other Falcon stars. Oshola, Ajibade, 5 other Falcon stars shortlisted for CAF Best Player Award. And that's the much we can take from the Leadership newspaper this morning. Still on the stories making the headlines on Nigerian newspapers this morning from the leadership newspaper, we'll flip over to the Vanguard newspaper. Visas of passengers lifted from Nigeria, verified by Saudi Arabia. Air Peace. How we can end insecurity in Southeast. Reps. Abia restricts movement of heavy-duty vehicles from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Governor Eno, editors. Governor Eno to editors. Deploy new template for development-oriented reportage. Ajero, NLC, TUC suspend strike for further negotiations. Why we cancelled 264 Nigerians' visas. Saudi Arabia. Editors Conference. Tinubu, Amuka, Eno. Others tax media on factual developmental news. Tinubu should be proactive on mining law. Salis. Inclusive policing will curb crime, insecurity. NOPRIN. Lagos governorship poll. Appeal court affirms Sanwo-Olu's victory. Osun government, civil society organization clash over alleged plot to remove chief judge. Bayelsa decides 2023. Why Diri laughed last? Still on the stories making the headlines on the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Court sacks Anyanwu as PDP national secretary. PDP says it will review appeal court's ruling affirming Sanwo-Olu's victory. NLC strike. Ajero mixed politics with issues of organized labor. Oshomule. Appeal court upholds Sanwo-Olu's election as Lagos governor. Get me killers of Rivers DPO. Ambashim. Others. Commissioner. Disu charges officers, men. Insecurity. The chilling discoveries in Southeast Forest. 4 dead as container-laden truck crushes bus, tricycle in Aba. That's the much we can take from the Vanguard newspaper this morning. And from the Vanguard newspaper, we'll flip over to Daily Post newspaper. Why we deported Nigerians, Saudi Arabia. Senate seeks establishment of Federal Data Bank. Angry youths stone boo Governor Alia in Makode. Revalidation of FEPs did not cripple National ID scheme. National Identity Management Commission. Assent to Electric Power Sector Reform Act. Rep. Baba Jimmy tells Tinubu. Assent to Electric Power Sector Reform Act. Rep. Baba Jimmy tells Tinubu. Senate urges federal government to upgrade Eastern Rail Line. Labour suspends nationwide strike. OT inaugurates special committee to investigate fraud allegations in nursing school. Chieftaincy tussle. Coalition urges Governor Mba to quell crisis in Enugu community. First Lady visits Zulum over mother-in-law's death. Strike. We have shocked federal government. Organized labor. Tinubu is God sent. Oluwo of Iwo. And that's the much we can take from the Daily Post newspaper this morning. And from the Daily Post newspaper, we'll flip over to the Punch newspaper. 277,672 residents enrolled in social health scheme. Permanent secretary is wrong, labeling all Nigerians corrupt. ICPC share. I'm true winner of Imo poll. Won't congratulate Uzodemma Ashono. Tinubu will fix Ajokuta steel firm, says minister. 177 deported Nigerians violated Saudi Arabia visa rules. Embassy provide land for irrigated farming. Federal government tells governors. Lagos dislodges arrest street traders in Oshodi. Others jubilation in BUK as NLC, TUC suspends strike. Abians excited as appeal court affirms Carlos victory, dismisses PDP, Labour Party petitions. Labour suspends strike. OPS stakeholders tackle NLC, TUC. Federal government reduces charges against MFLA. Strike stalls arraignment. Mawa opens Medugri Drug Rehabilitation Center. Senate seeks establishment of Aviation College in Ogun. Ex-Finance Minister Soloye dies at 90. Federal government to build industrial hubs for job creation. Abia to deworm 60,000 pupils. Nigeria needs urgent economic revival. NGE tells federal government how Boko Haram was prevented from recruiting University of Medugri students. Vice Chancellor. Couple price out as erosion threatens home in Umuahia. Culture, tradition meet at coronation of Arochukwu's ninth king. Oti visits Abia crash victims, says probe ongoing. APC will take over Anambra in 2024. Zonal chairman. Imo election proves Tinubu's commitment to democracy. My 5-year-old son traumatized by my collation center assault. Imo Labour Party chairman. I was never bribed with 10 million naira to join APC. Ebonyi PDP shifting. Era of division in Ebonyi over under Nwefuru. We will do regular deworming in our schools. Abia governor. Labour Party welcomes Atiku's merger proposal. NMPP gives condition. Experts, residents worry over Anambra child beggars. Diri advocates legislation to check vote buying. Liberia's where ex-VP includes race as vote counting begins. That's the much we can take from the Punch newspaper this morning. And from the Punch newspaper, we'll flip over to the Sun newspaper. NGE confirm Tinubu woos media in effort to address Nigeria's challenges. Nigeria sliding into totalitarianism. PDP. Nigeria sliding into totalitarianism. PDP. Don't exclude Southeast from railways upgrade program. Senate tells federal government. Mba announces 25,000 naira awards to Enugu workers, increases social register enrollment to 260,000. Labour reaches truce with federal government, suspends strike. Senators fume over 1.3 trillion naira revenue loss to waivers in 2023. Rep. Gadi tells PDP, count me. Judiciary out of your self-inflicted woes. Education, skills development, panacea for tackling poverty, hunger, Chetima. PDP senators settle for North Central for minority leader. NDIS 2023, sports tourism can be Nigeria's new oil. Eno. CBN upbeat on price stability as inflation declines. Labour Party warns members against unguarded comments. Cancellation of 264 visas. Our story. Saudi government. NLC strike. Edo local government petition tribunal suffers setback as protesting workers disrupt proceedings. Institute of Architects Lord Kebi governor over state development within shortest time. Mining. Nigerians in diaspora critical in sector's transformation. Alake. West perpetrating genocide in Gaza. Envoy. West perpetrating genocide in Gaza. Envoy. The recalls for legislation to curb vote buying. Labour leaders to consult after meeting with federal government. NIQS decries the federal government's withdrawal of financial support to professional bodies. Obafemi Awolowo University confirms lecturer slumps, dies in office. Federal government inaugurates 10-man committee on salt and kaolin production. APC strengthening democracy, not plotting one-party state. Ruling party replies Atiku. We need national fasting, not strike. Oluwo. Nasarawa Appeal Court reserves judgment in appeal by Governor Sule. This is deja vu. Too many. Omokri reacts to Oladip's death. Appeal Court unanimously affirms Sanwo-Olu's Hamzat's election. Senators whom over 1.3 trillion naira revenue lost to weavers in 2023. Ministries, departments, agencies, how lack of administrative experience led academics into trouble. Or what's on there? Obi spurs Edo PDP, forms coalition ahead of 2024 poll. Plateau, Mutfwang, appoints chairperson gender commission. I want two Baba, orders captured. Rivers Commissioner of Police tax officers. Rapper Oladips dies at 28. That's the much we can take from the Sun newspaper this morning. And from the Sun newspaper, we'll flip over to the Nation newspaper. Osopa, Fuji musician, graduates from University of Ibadan. Man freed after 7 years in detention. Obi, Obaseki won't be allowed to impose successor. Nigerians should support Tinubu on reforms. You can't arrest democracy. Oshomole, false timing of NLC Imo protest. You can't arrest democracy. Oshomole, false timing of NLC Imo protest. Senate moves to create federal data bank. We will review verdict, take appropriate action, says Lagos PDP. Nimet predicts 24-hour poor visibility in 7 northern states. How boy 9 kidnapped 5-year-old girl in Bauchi. How boy 9 kidnapped 5-year-old girl in Bauchi. Expert bags experimental marketing award. And still on the stories making the headlines on the Nation newspaper this morning. Education is quality, not free education needed. Preserve Nigeria's heritage. University of Lagos Library remodeled. Guaranteed safety of white cane users. Varsity announces resumption date. How to grow economy through real estate by experts. Ex-bank chief to entrepreneurs take calculated risk. Sanwo-Olu, we are committed to positioning Lagos as Africa's financial innovation hub. Akpabio swears in Abia Central Senator Akubundo. Akpabio swears in Abia Central Senator Akubundo. Nigeria to speed up Lagos-Abidjan highway completion, says Umai. That's the much we can take from the Nation newspaper this morning. You are listening to newspaper headlines on Ebon at the 103.5 FM. We'll now go for a short break. When we come back, we'll continue on the stories making the headlines. Please stay with us.
ezinụlọ Ichie Dr. Joseph Nwafọ Amụnwa eze anọdụ Ichie Orimiri one of Ukpo Dunukọfịa eze dibịa isi mmiri of Akaezi Village Ukpo na-akpọku gị maka emume akwamozu nke nna di nwanne nna nnukwu nna ha bụ late Ichie Dr. Joseph Nwafọ Amụnwa eze anọdụ Ichie Orimiri one of Ukpo Dunukọfịa eze dibịa isi mmiri Dr. Rams. Emume akwamozu ya ga-amalite na Thursday 16th November 2023 Eke ga-abụ wetu Friday 17th November 2023 akwamozu n'ụzọ omenala yana iti mmọnwụ ndị omenala Saturday 18th November 2023 10 a.m. mgbarụ ndị ọgọ ụmụada ndị enyi ụmụ nwanne nwadiana na ndị na-echelụta ezi echiche Sunday 19th November 2023 mgbarụ ga na-aga n'ihu Tuesday 24th November 2023 outing ceremony ọzọ ndị ibe Nicholas Nwafọ eze anọdụ nna ya ebubo aka ekpuchi ọnwa n'aha ezinụlọ.
Mgbe maka this boy a na-agba egwu daga imeni nsogbu
Ebon at the 103.5 FM na Babuwa production.
Police for vigilante.
Now my business is mine now. When I will tell you SDJ radio drama, there we go. ATJ radio drama Eriko Ghana Dialogue every Monday 8 o'clock p.m. with a repeat broadcast on Saturday 3 o'clock p.m. Ogamayinte na Monday 20th day of November 2023 m. Na Ebon at 103.5 FM.
If you move and finish your business,
amara m ile nwa dịrị ahụ ụbọchị m na-aga n'obodo m na-anụ akụ na ya na-erikọ n'anya nke ka dịkwa nke bụ na ana m ahụzikwu n'anya ma ọ bụ n'eziokwu
Ekwekwala ka akọlụ gị nke a akọlụ. How best can we talk about the challenges we are having on our streets? Our community, our society in general, street report. If we do not address these challenges on Ebonade FM, who will? As the happenings around us get as complicated as they can be.
Our government,
Street report is here to make sense of it all. Street report is causing social change across your streets. In your community, Street report is here with hardcore journalism to get to the roots of our problem. Why don't you join me, Martin Ifan as number the first every Friday, 4:30 p.m. on Ebonade 103.5 FM as Street Reports unfolds
In your face.
on Ebonade corner
24/7. 24/7.
You're welcome back to Newspaper Headlines on Ebon at the 103.5 FM. Remember that you can become part of the conversation by sending your reactions via SMS or WhatsApp messages on 080-9666-1035. You can as well join us on Facebook as we are live at Ebon at the 103.5 FM. Drop your comment on the comment section of the live video. You can equally stream us online via mixlr.com/gistfm. We are on to this day newspaper. NGE confirmed Tinubu advocates positive narrative to boost Nigeria's investment. After meeting federal government, NLC, TUC suspend nationwide strike. Stakeholders re-echo call for sale of NMPC's oil, gas assets to fund big upstream projects. Impact of fuel subsidy removal. Higher food prices push inflation to 27.33%. Customs don't have $3.2 billion modernization project details, CG tells Senate. Providus moves to acquire majority stake in Unity Bank. Afrexim Bank launches intra-Africa contract promotion program. Climate crisis. Okonjo-Iweala urges developing countries to prepare for TRIPS flexibilities. Rewen. Sub-national experience not enough to run government at federal level. Afrexim Bank launches intra-African contract promotion program. Taking this. Report. Exports from African businesses up 50% with huge support from women. Imo, Uzodimma's rough road to victory. NSA, Ajero's attackers arrested. Probe of assault begins. CBN, old 100 naira, 200 naira, 1,000 naira banknotes remain legal tender interminably. Breaking. Saudi Arabia cancels visa of all Air Peace 264 passengers on arrival in Jeddah. That's the much we can take from this day newspaper this morning. And from this day newspaper, we'll flip over to Nigerian Tribune. Court of Appeal, PDP promises to review judgment, take appropriate action. Senate seeks establishment of Federal Data Bank. Experts set to address food insecurity, value chain development in Nigeria. Strike, more compliance in Oyo as public school students return home. 9 shortlisted for African Media Development Foundation Award. Ahead dry season, Oyo government sensitizes against Lassa fever, diphtheria, other diseases. Ex-JAMB registrar Professor Ujerinde's money laundering trial stalled again. Senate okays amendment of Electric Power Sector Reform Act. Labor union strike, record partial compliance in Anambra. New Gombe Commissioner of Police promises enhanced security via community engagement. Kogi government distributes essential medical supplies to state-owned healthcare facilities. Reps urge federal government to dualize Ogun, Lagos Road. Senate pleads with NLC, TUC to call off strike. Governor Alia commends Tinubu for fulfilling electioneering promises. That's the much we can take from the Nigerian Tribune this morning. And that will mark the conclusion of all that we have for you on this particular edition of Newspaper Headlines on Ebona Day 103.5 FM. We will now flip over to our WhatsApp portal to bring you reactions this morning. On our WhatsApp portal, we have a message coming from Famous Christian. He's joining us from Ifite Village, Aguluzibo. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have a message coming from Sonny Ome Sunday from Nsoka. And he says, NLC calling off the strike just after 2 days shows that today's labor has lost it. The fiber we saw in PA, Imodu, Oshomole, and others then is gone. And that's why a government has got the guts to brutalize and maltreat the labor leaders. He continued and says, why the 25,000 wage award by Governor Mba to Enugu civil servants in Enugu State is a welcome development. We are keenly watching for its implementation. Will it be normal political statement? Okay, thank you so much. He continued and says on Governor Hyacinth Alias attack in Benue. I wouldn't know the reason for the attack, but it's nice we remind politicians that the people are watching. Promises made during campaigns should be fulfilled, otherwise, no one can guarantee what an angry man can do. When peaceful revolution is not possible, violent one becomes inevitable. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have a message. This one is coming from Engineer Ebuka Joshua Dawson from 33, and he says the PDP claiming that the country is sliding into totalitarianism and anarchy under APC-led administration will still do same if power is given to them. Kudos to Governor of Enugu State, Dr. Peter Mba, as he announced cash awards of between 10,000 naira and 25,000 naira to the state workers till April 2024, while also assuring that the new minimum wage negotiation would soon be concluded. Let others emulate from him. As the organized labor suspended its industrial action following intervention of the National Security Advisor, Nu Ribadu, federal government should try as much as possible to fulfill their promises. Engineer Ebuka Joshua Dawson from 33, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have this message coming from Ufondo. Let's see if we can get you more reactions. Still on our WhatsApp portal, we have a message from Christian Fundo from Onisha, and he says, Labour suspend strike. How many days has Labour embarked on the strike before suspending it? This flexible attitude of this group made it to be looked down upon by the federal government because the group will never be serious. Labour should have refused to listen to anybody or any group till those in authority start doing what they had been agitating for before they will listen to anybody. Now, Labour's propaganda has ended in nothing, quote me. And he continued and says, APC will take over Anambra in the coming years, but not only Anambra, APC will take over the whole Nigeria because Nigeria has already sneaked into one party system. But some shallow-minded people among, okay, he continued and said, none, if Nigeria will be better, or he says we shall say no to one party system that has already been practiced, okay, that is already into practice in this country since the APC administration started. If we do not do something fast, this devilish idea of this party will become a norm and as we known will become our daily food. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning, Christian Ufondo. Now we have this message is coming from Jomag from Unkole's Naka GRA, and it says others should learn to desist from crimes as bricklayer sentenced to life imprisonment for defiling a 13-year-old girl. If you can't do the times, don't do the crime. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning, Joman from Unkole's Naka GRA. We have a message. This one is coming from Valentine Edene from Mumpo. And he says, I don't know if NLC is helping Nigerians to recover from injury or trauma we previously got from judiciary or putting salt on the wound. No institution and organization are ready to fight corruption, but spreading hands wide open to welcome corruption. Remember, no leader will bribe you without expecting something in return to the extent it will be attracting mortgaging citizens mortgaging citizens' lives. Anyway, masses must be free one day. Okay, Valentine and then from Mumbo, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have a message. This one is coming from Engineer Ebuka Wambufo. He says, if Labour will stand for 1 week, it should be better than calling off the strike. Means that they are incompetent of their job. Okay, thanks. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And that's the much we can take from our WhatsApp portal. Let's flip over to our SMS portal to bring you more reactions. On our SMS portal, we have this message coming from Libuni Sokoye from Achala, Enugu Agede, and he says, article's call for unification of all opposition parties is a welcome suggestion. Let them come together and fight corrupt APC. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have this message. This one says, the recent depreciation of Naira to his dollar exchange rate is very, very alarming and worrisome. Secondly, Israelis' bombardment in Gaza against Palestinian Hamas is a welcome development. This is coming from Ikechukwu Nwakeze from Okozu. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now we have a message from Austin Ezewaka from Umueze, Umunachi. And it says, the proposed student free loan for institution for higher learning in Nigeria by President Tinubu administration is highly commendable and a kind gesture. Kudos to Presido. Nigerians are now waiting and yearning for implementation. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning, Austin Ezewaka. We have a message from Aja from Odume, and he says, which day, Panoka, Nigerian security agencies will start telling us the truth. Troops kill Boko Haram in Kaduna. That statement is okay. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have this message. This one is saying, it's coming from Mayor Onyin Jikoka, and he says, please, I am confused in the leadership of APC in Nigeria since Buhari got into power, so travel from one country to the other. Now, Tinubu has started his own travel, but I have not heard of those countries traveling like our president. Did they let them stop all extravagant travel and focus on internal problem? No roads in almost all the 36 states. Look at the labor problem, to mention but a few. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Mayor Onyen Jikoka. We have a message. This one is coming from Honorable Onyedika Osakwe. He says, now Boko Haram are busy recruiting members from northern universities and security agencies, boasting to have flushed this terrorist. Okay, you got it wrong. The report says that they prevented the Boko Haram from, recruiting the kids. And he continued and said, let people not talk of Imo election again, as Imo citizens are the cause of their travail and calamity. Let us wait and see what will be the ordeal of Imo citizens. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now we have a message. This one is coming from Agomba Wankano, and he says, okay, from Enugu, Wankano from Enugu State, and he says, we have left Nigeria in the hand of Tinubu and APC to do whatever they like. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Let's see if we can get you more reactions. And now we have one that says, thank God that NLC and TUC letter called off the strike, because if the strike continues, many will suffer and many will die during the strike. What leads to cancellation of 246 Nigerian visas to Saudi Arabia? Please, federal government should put their eyes there, not only to travel from one country to another. This one is coming from Akedi Amoke Onyana Wada Omunachi. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have this message. It says, NLC and TUC strike saga is a ranting of an ant. Nigerians are still sleeping and playing with APC government. Obaka from Apple, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have this message that says, I urge the federal government to return for subsidy and forget the idea of giving us peanuts as palliatives. Uche from Obunike, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Let's flip over to our Facebook portal to bring you more reactions. From our Facebook portal this morning, we have a message from Engineer Ibuka Joshua that says, I knew that Labour would suspend strike. Always issues empty strike threats. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. On our SMS portal, we have a message coming from Agunabo na Ufa, and he says Agluzibo. He says, "I like how Labour stopped the strike. Our children will not roll on the streets." Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now we flip over to our WhatsApp portal, and on our WhatsApp portal, we have a message that says, this is coming from Amechi Anene from Nkwele, Ogiri, and he says, "Kudos to Enugu State Governor Mba. Let other governors do the same." Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now we have a message. This one is coming from Ndubisi Okafor from Umueze Umunachi, and it says, "Federal government will continue to dribble NLC in the name of negotiation. Negotiation had lasted for more than 6 months, yet no fruit. And he says NLC with federal government has worsened the plight of Nigerians." And he says, okay, change to NLC. Okay, this is coming from Ndubiso Kapo from Umueze Omunashi. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now we have a message from Onyeka Nwabufo from Umuoji, and he says, "What is the meaning of the 2 days strike by Labour? Their problems are just starting." Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have a message that is coming from Obiora from Okozo, and he says NLC and NUC suspended the strike. Ajero is the only NLC leader that was beaten by the Nigerian security agencies because of his low mentality and weakness, and he will again be beaten to stupor by the people that beat him before, because the cry of the poor people in Nigeria are touching the heart of the Most High God. He is a disappointment to the people he is representing. He continued and said, "ICPC chairman tell people to stop labeling that all Nigerians are corrupt." My question to ICPC chairman, don't he know that when the head of the train miss track, other bodies must follow suit? What did ICPC chairman said about Tinubu election and Tinubu Supreme Court judgment? Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Ome Sunday from Osoka continued, and he says, "On the rise in inflation to 27.33%, I think what we have here now is hyperinflation. Government should watch it, especially what the CBN policies, because I have not seen much from the retrogressive policies of the new CBN management." This okay, he said, "Thanks to Martinez, good to report that your station and your quality and enriching programs like News at 6, newspaper headlines, Love Clinic, and now started drama is good. Okay, please keep it up. It's clear and sounding here in Soka." Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Ome Sunday from Osaka, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now, on our SMS portal, we have a message that says, look, this one is coming from Honorable Onyedika Osakwe, and he says, "NLC strike may not reflect the yearnings and sufferings of the people involving the removal of the Biden for subsidy. Rather, they will only agitate for what will favor and replenish their pocket. As they have suspended the strike, I know that so many things has changed hands. You cannot trust Nigerians, as every onslaught is a golden opportunity. The APC dreaming to take over Anambra State is a malaria-inflicted dream, as Anambrians cannot allow impunity down here. Come rain, come sun, amidst sufferings here in Nigeria, our president is about to go and party overseas. There is danger." Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Let's see if we can get you more reactions, and we have one. This one say, "May Joe Ajero be beaten over and over again," from Epani Iweka. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, but we cannot support that notion of subscribing to beating someone. But this is the spot where we call it a day on this particular edition of Newspaper Headlines on Ebon and the 103.5 FM. Remember, it comes your way weekdays in the morning. Once is 7 o'clock, so keep a date. And don't touch the dial of Ebon and the 103.5 FM. Once is 8:20. We'll be back with Birthday Splash. Until we meet again, I am Martin. Have a wonderful morning.
Mgbe maka disco ya na-agba egwu. Dada inye nsogbu.
Epona the 103.5 FM. Nabakuwa Production. Police for vigilante.
Not my business.
When I will tell you HJ radio drama, Erico. Erico Mama. Akoko ìtẹ́lẹ̀ HJ radio drama Erico Ghana Dialogue every Monday 8 o'clock p.m. with a repeat broadcast on Saturday 3 o'clock p.m. Other Monday na Monday 20th day of November 2023 m. Na Epona 103.5 FM.
If you move and finish your business,
Amara m ile nwa dị ahụ ụbọchị m na-aga n'obodo m na-anụ akọ na ya na-erikọ n'anya nke ka dịkwu nke bụ na ana m ahụzikwu n'anya ma ọ bụrụ eziokwu.
Epokwana ka akọlụ dị nke akọlụ. How best can we talk about the challenges we are having on our streets, our community, our society in general? Street report. If we do not address these challenges on Ebonade FM, who will? As the happenings around us get as complicated as they can be. Street report is here to make sense of it all. Street report is causing social change across your streets. In your community, Street Report is here with hardcore journalism to get to the roots of our problem. Why don't you join me, Martin Ifanyu as number the force every Friday, 4:30 p.m. on Ebonade 103.5 FM as Street Reports unfolds in your face. On Emas in Ebonade corner 24/7, 24/7.
Ezinụlọ.
Ezinụlọ.
Ezinụlọ bụ ọdịmma obodo. Onye doziri ezinụlọ edozigo obodo. Family is the foundation of the society. Na ọdịmma ezinụlọ n'ebe ọ na-adị 103.5 FM bụ ebe anyị ga na-etinye anya n'okwu gbasara ezinụlọ.
Papa, Mama.